Hey everyone, I'm getting ready to start another one of my winter projects while the Camaro's indoors, and we're in a Michigan winter here, and I've got some time to work on it. One of my projects is I want to replace the carpet, and I think I've mentioned this before that the carpet was not in great shape, so I'm making preparations to do that. One of the things I found when I was checking through the restoration places and looking for carpet was I want to make sure that the color is right. The Camaro, this car, has a gray interior. And if you go to the GM color charts, you've got RPL label numbers and you have color names. And the basic color name is medium dark gray, which is a kind of a good descriptor. It's not dark and it's medium. So if you go look at the carpet charts, and I looked at them on a couple of different websites, the one that I looked at is the most is ACC Auto Custom Carpets. And if you look under 85 Camaro, they list one for that model year and they call it Dove Gray. I want to make sure before I spend my money that I'm ordering the right thing. It would be really bad to get a new set of carpet and not have it be the right color. So I sent them an email and said, gee, does this correspond to any of the RPO levels? Can we check it? Because Dove Gray, while it sounds good, Dove Gray isn't the same as medium dark gray necessarily. So they were very nice. And they said, well, gee, we'll send you a sample. And by the way, you can get 5 samples if you want, of 5 different colors and match up what you think is best. Because their standard carpet, they offer in Dove Gray, which is supposed to match. If I go through, it looks like it's the right match. And they also offer something they call Essex, which is a little bit thicker carpeting. But it comes with a different set of colors, and so I picked out all the grays. The Essex, there's what they call a light charcoal, there's one they call a medium gray, a gray, and then there's Dove Gray, which I think is right. And silver, I picked out. Silver is the color for 1982 to 1984. And in any case, I have 5 of these. I'm going to go inside the car here, try to get some light on it, and get a look and see how these match up. Okay, I'm in the car, and one of the challenges in getting a color match is what light you use. I happen to be in here with a halogen light. I have come in with the camera and using the card here, done a white balance adjustment, set it off the card to try to make sure the color was right. One of the things that you notice in the car is that I guess in the 1980s, dye matches of different colors were not, maybe not always stable. 2 is interiors can fade with time and they get soiled. So what I did is I've picked the back seat here and folded the back seat down, and what you have is you have the gray of the trunk cargo area up against the gray of the front area, up against the gray that goes on the upholstery or here in the back. So those are the matches, and I guess being that is the choice of colors, and then probably if I go through and I look at door panels and things, they weren't, they're all close, but they aren't identical. So in any case, as I said a few moments ago, they sent me their business card. This is the company I'm looking at, and I've seen their products in a couple of different restoration houses. The colors that they sent me are like this. We'll go ahead and lay them out. And I'll put this one on the bottom. So these are my choices of color, and recognizing again that I have a pretty good difference here between those. That one seems too light. That one is the Essex gray, what they call gray, which looks like it's a little bit light all the way around. This one is Dove Gray. This is the one that is supposed to be a match. So it's fairly close there. It's fairly close there. And it depends on the camera a little bit on how much angle of light you get on it. But that's not too bad. It's a little lighter than the back. It's a little darker than the front. It's got a pretty good match all the way around. So that probably is the right one. This one is, I think, way too light in all cases. And that's, see, that one's called silver. That would be the earlier color carpet. And it kind of matches the gray of Essex. And then there are two here that if I wanted to upgrade and wanted to go to the thicker carpet, this is their medium gray that's in Essex. And that's actually not too bad. It's a little darker than this one. But let me get this out of the way for a second. So that would be the Essex color compared to Dove Gray. Here's Dove Gray. Okay, so there's Dove Gray. That's what we think it's supposed to be. And the Essex material is just a little bit darker. But if I wanted to run a little fancier carpet, that wouldn't be a bad choice. They also have the charcoal, what they call light charcoal, but it's darker. So out of all my selections, I think either one of those would work, but I think it kind of confirms that the Dove Gray would be appropriate for doing this. Again, manufacturing dialots vary and carpet's old, so let's see. This one's been soiled and sun faded, and so that's. But I think behind the seats here is probably the best opportunity for a match that I have, and I will probably go with the Dove Gray as the closest match. But it makes me feel better that I've got a reasonable match before I order and have it show up here in the house. And the difference incidentally between Essex and normal, so the standard is on the bottom and the Essex is on the top. You can see that it is definitely a little bit thicker, a little bit more plush carpet. So, but with all these samples out of the way for a moment, as I said, that's pretty close. It's a little hard to get with the camera, again, because the light tends to reflect off the fiber. You can see it looks really light there, and then it looks darker there. I think that's probably the best. That's probably the best we're going to see. I think that looks pretty good. It's a little lighter than the other one. But it certainly doesn't clash with anything. So, well, even the back of the seat, here's the seat back and there's the seat base, and even they aren't quite the same color. And in truth, it probably really doesn't matter tremendously. if the shade is off a little, so I'm probably being a little bit too fussy at checking all this, but you know, you need to do what you need to do. Just for fun, I'm going to look at the door panels here. It's a little bit lighter than the door panel, but it's close. So I think that's a go. And I mean, I'm going to think harder about. I'm going to think harder whether I want an Essex or, you know, or something a little better. But everything I've done on this car so far has been, you know, geared toward a stock, you know, toward a restoration. And so I'd like to get. I'm fine putting stock type carpet back in the car. And I think it's about time to get it ordered. Let's do it here without the light one more time. So if you come in here without any light, without the bright light, yeah, I think that looks pretty good. That's a pretty good match. It's a little bit lighter than that one, a little darker than that one, pretty close to the back of the seat. Good compromise. That's all for now.